Divine Spirit and gracious Creator, we are all here to open ourselves up unconditionally to your divine assistance and continued direction. As well as receiving your healing and guidance, we are fully open and ready to receive and notice signs and blessings. We are truly grateful and thank you. Amen. Please settle your minds and focus on your crown chakra. And when you are ready, open it up for Spirit to supply you with its source of energy. As it enters your crown chakra, allow it to rebalance all your chakras, starting with the crown chakra, moving on to the brow chakra, down to the throat chakra, then onto the heart chakra, working its way down to the solar plexus chakra, further down to the sacral chakra, and down to the root chakra. Allow the spirit energy source to visit all your minor chakras to maximize our potential in this circle. Let the energy settle in your body, and when you're ready, move your focus back to your heart chakra and start linking with all other members of this circle unconditionally. Set your intentions on the task we agree, please, to maximize our ability to make the links to spirit that we need to achieve. We have come together on the earth plane with the purpose of receiving answers to our questions from our spirit guides and advisors that are happy to link with us. I would like to start by introducing members of our circle. My name is Ashley, and with me today is Chris, Neil, Adrian, and Pam. I would like to welcome all members of the Spirit Circle and thank you for believing in us. As we try to lift our energy levels sufficiently to enable you to bridge and make contact through our mediums, we are focusing and offering you the opportunity to link through us. Please link directly through your choice of medium, and if you are happy to link through another medium at the same time as another soul from Spirit does, then please do so. Where possible, we would respectfully appreciate confirmation that we have achieved a successful link through either a sense of doing so or even more grateful to hear the spoken word itself. As we try to lift our energy levels in our own circle and with the help of our own guides and others in spirit, we look forward to making the connection to the Spirit Circle. When we have achieved that, could you confirm when you are ready for questions to be put in place to you, please?
A very good evening to you all. Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us and welcome to our circle. What would you like to be known as this evening?
My name is Neichi.
Nature. Is this the first time you're joining us, Nature, or have you been before?
This is the first time I've spoken.
Okay, but you've watched before then.
Many times.
So how did you end up coming on this evening? Was it through personal choice? Was you asked?
Personal choice.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I wasn't quite sure whether I was going to come through.
Well, you made it, so welcome. Thank you.
Yes.
All right, are you ready to get started if I ask you some questions?
Yes. Please.
All right. So, why do clocks and or watches stop working when someone passes over?
You've caught me off guard there. When I
This is
last
one.
passed over, we didn't have watches and clocks.
When was you last here on the airplane?
A very long time ago. Before what you would know as Christ.
Oh, like caveman or before caveman?
After cavemen.
What country did you live your last life in, or what would we know it as now?
Tibet.
Tibet. And was you male or female?
I was male in that life.
What would you say one of the most important lessons was that you learned from that life?
That life I dedicated myself. I was a follower of Buddha.
Mm-hmm.
So my life was knowledge to help. Wisdom.
Did you find that following that religion helped with that? Or did you find that religion restricted some of your spiritual growth?
Both to that.
Yeah.
It was restrictive in how I lived that life. I did not have family of my own. My family was the brotherhood.
Mm.
We did interact with the locals from time to time.
During that life, sorry.
Oh, go on, Ashley.
I was wondering, during that lifetime, did you ever have feelings as a human, what it would be like to have a family, or was you just always in your mindset devoted to the brotherhood, or did you ever have doubts?
Yes, doubts crept in.
How did you stay on that straight and narrow then? Because that must have been a challenge.
It was very challenging, but I chose that life and I stuck to the path.
How did you stick to the path then? Because it's so easy to say I stuck to the path, but it's when you're living that life and you're going through things, it's like that self-discipline to kind of stay stuck at something. It takes something to continue to do it,
That was the journey that I put myself on before joining that life.
But during that life, you didn't know that.
No, it is easy to look back now. But at that time, living that life, yes, there was many challenges. There was times that we could have easily fell off that journey with the temptation. Living with men most of the time is difficult. when you interact with female, that is when it becomes difficult.
Mm.
But we helped one another to live the best lives we could.
How come you haven't been back to the earth plane since then? Because it's a very long time ago.
I was lucky to get to an old age and was able to pass on my teachings to others.
Mm.
And because I was teaching, it made me want to become a guide, to guide others. And there are lots to guide over many centuries.
Mm. Yeah. How do we know if we are an old soul?
I will answer this slightly differently than maybe you've heard in the past. But everybody is an old soul. The soul is very old anyway. It is just an old soul is one that has lived many a life. So it is experience that would I class as an old soul. Souls are not born like in factories as you see them or see things today. They are younger souls. And what you might call new. These are ones that haven't or have only just started to take a physical form.
Okay. I'm going to kind of go back to the question before when you was talking about, like, you know, that you're a guide and stuff. When a soul finishes its development in spirit, what happens then? What happens next?
A soul never really finishes its development. It just chooses another path or progresses to maybe have its own team or become an elder. But it's still developing all the time. There are always different challenges, always new people or new souls, I should say. Please excuse me saying.
Do new souls get created every day then? Or are they just kind of like the original souls and they get reincarnated into something else?
Souls are created, but they're not in. How can I put this? It's not like children on the earth where they're born several to, say, a minute around the world. It doesn't work like that. And a lot of us, as you say, reincarnate. We come back. But then I still may come back yet. But I just have chose to.
Who makes that choice? Like, if you get to the point where you think, oh yeah, I would like to come back, do you make that choice, or do you have like an elder that will make that decision on your behalf? How does that work?
I can make that choice, as you will. Better that if your elder feels that you're better.
Why?
The need is great for you to be on a different path, then you stay there. Because time doesn't matter to us. We can always come back.
So, as time doesn't exist in spirit, that suggests that spirit can view the future. So, is this actually possible in spirit, or are you blocked from doing so or telling us?
We can see into the future, some of us.
Mm.
Others are not
Not as
necessarily wanting to know how far or what can happen.
Mm.
Because each time you make a decision, that can change what happens in the future.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Even us as souls can change, make a decision that can change what we do or where we go.
Yeah.
Because time does exist in an extent, because everything becomes older and there's always something that's happening in front of you. But there is no time with clocks and watches as you have on Earth.
How do you know what time to come into the love circle?
We know because we hear your thoughts.
Mm.
We still know that Earth has calendars and clocks. But we know as your guides, we are with you.
Mm.
So we can look through you if we need to. But it's just a thought when you think it is our night tonight and this time we know to join you.
Mm.
And then our thought connects with all the others. We would sort of say put it in diary. But our diary is not Monday to Sunday.
Can us as humans ever block spirit from accessing our thoughts? You know, just say, for example, like you might be thinking about something, but you think about, oh, I hope that person's spirit don't hear that.
Yes.
Mm.
We're not there to rummage around. When you think of us, it's more when we connect or when in times of need.
Mm.
As you're moving about your day, we can be with you, but we're not.
Otherwise you're busy, isn't
In your head
it?
or in your thoughts.
Yeah.
We're around at the side, observing, helping, guiding, sometimes just to see how you all are.
I think my guys need to give me a kick up the backside.
Even as your main guide, you are connected and
Mm.
very close, but you can still step away for other duties.
Mm. Mm.
This is what happens as well with your inner spirit when you sleep.
Mm.
They allow more of that energy to come back to spirit, to join and learn while you are asleep.
Mm. Is that why I sleep so much? Oh dear. Okay, right. Next question. Why do so many souls want to experience the negative aspects of living life in a human vessel on the earth plane?
It is not a want for the negativity. It is more to experience, well, it is to live that experience.
And it's not always necessarily a choice, is it? We know that.
No, but sometimes it's the growth from the negative that brings the positive. We come as you've come, as you've come for the experience. Like when you're living your life, you will go off you'll see something that you want to experience, but it doesn't always have a positive or happy side. It's just something that you wish to do or to
Yeah.
learn. It is exactly that. Maybe in the more extreme.
Okay.
I see that has given you food for thought.
I have a lot of food for thought. Yeah. Okay. Going on to health. So I don't know what your views are on this, but let's see. So some people get like cysts like on the back of their head or their neck, and they can kind of keep coming back and keep coming back. Like, what helps get rid of cysts like once and for all, or do they just like keep bugging somebody for the rest of their life here on the airplane?
A lot of the body conditions come from mental condition.
Mm.
Your stress, your emotions, the energy gets stored within the body. And it's the body's way of how it manifests or how it copes with it.
Mm.
Sometimes that body some people might cope with the depression in their mind, but then they might suffer with, as you say, cysts or body ailments of bad back.
Or like some people get stomach ulcers.
Yes, some of it's also to do with your digestive systems and what you are eating.
What about people who are eating really well but still have those issues? Would you then say that it's more of a mental thing then? And
It could be, yes, but it also is. Sometimes certain things are passed through with the DNA.
How do you
You
get?
know,
So it's like, are you saying that sometimes, like some people just may never get rid of it, or is there a way to be able to tap into get rid of it?
it all depends on if it is something that's within the family. It is something that might never go away completely. But it all depends on what exactly it is. Because excuse me a minute. Yes, so sorry, excuse me about that.
Okay.
So some of it is medical, it is to do with the body. And other times, it is to do with the mental health and the body's way of showing. But the less stressed you are, the less this should happen. But it is a bit of a circle because people will see an imperfection, then this upsets them, so they get stressed. And then this can make it worse. So it is try to see it for what it is, that it is part of you. Do your best to help that condition. Unless it is affecting you in a more physical way with movement, etc.
How would you determine whether or not it's to do with the DNA or whether or not it's a mental thing?
If it is something that your parents have had or your siblings have got, then it would go back. It would be hereditary. If it is something that it is within you and only you, it is something that has happened or shown from something that's happened in your life, and your body has just adjusted, and this is how it's shown.
So if it's more of a mental thing as such, like it's pockets of energy that are causing like particular illness or whatever, what would you say, how would you say it's best to like shift that energy? So obviously we have like healing. Would you say like other outlets like exercise, or what would you recommend?
A good balance of water, less sugar, exercise as much as you can, but it does not have to be to the point that you are exhausted. Just gentle walking or cycling or jogging. It doesn't have to be for hours either. Just to take in the fresh air. Keep outside, or get outside, I should say. Eat what is needed. Don't overeat. It's put your body into overworking. This is very difficult in these times at the moment.
Yeah, it's like some people will do all of those things but still suffer anyway, so it's just difficult, isn't it?
It is.
Do you think that I don't know, I can't pronounce my words tonight. Probiotics is good for gut health or not? Obviously, probiotics is man-made, isn't it? But some people kind of like say, yeah, it's good for the gut.
From what my understanding of it is, it helps, but it doesn't detract from getting what you need from your fruit, vegetables.
Yeah. Another question on food. Bread. Is bread good or bad for the human digestive system? And if bad, what should we be eating in this place? I feel like I already know the answer to that, but it's on the list. So.
Bread has been a staple for many years.
It's true.
But it doesn't agree with everybody. But if sometimes is that all you've got, that is all you've got to eat, then that's what you eat. But your processed bread would obviously do more harm than using your whole grain.
Yeah.
So if somebody is struggling with that, then you would go with the more natural than the processed.
Okay, next question. When we pass over to spirit, who decides on who comes to greet us? Because we often hear like, okay, when we pass over, you know, our loved ones are going to be there, like, hi. But who decides like who comes to greet us? Is it our own spirit guides that decide, or is there like a higher power? Who decides?
It is you and your guide.
Okay.
You need to be greeted by somebody familiar.
Yeah.
There'd be no point meeting, say, a grandparent that doesn't show themselves as your grandparent.
But what about
show-
our spirit guide in terms of like, if we don't see them in this lifetime, we might hear them.
They will show themselves
Will we
to you,
recognise them?
but you would know them when you see them, even though you've never. I can't say never, because some people do get to see us in their lifetime. Not everybody gets to physically see their guides.
Why is that? Why do some get to see their spirit guides and some don't?
It is just the way of things. It may be something
who
that's chosen
decides?
before. You decide.
I love the way you say you decide. I don't feel like we all get to decide everything, you know.
Your soul decides.
I'm not too sure about that one.
You'll have a laugh when you get up and come back home.
Yeah, well.
You'll be saying, why did I ask that question?
Where do you see this circle is going or advancing or not advancing?
This circle is advancing. It is helping you. It is healing you. It is answering your questions. We love to come. We love to help. It allows us to join with you in a different manner. We get to speak to you in a different way.
Yeah.
Just because some of us come through others doesn't mean to say that we are their guides. We are also your guides, those of you that do not. Also allow us to come through. This is why, with this circle, we see against others. Others only seem to let their own guides come through. Whereas with your circle, there are no boundary.
As long as the spirit got good intentions.
But we all have good intentions.
Yes.
Because we are your guides. We're all linked to one another. We're all one in spirit. But when it comes to circles like this, we say, cut that family to the side. So we are, as we speak to you, your whole group, whether they're here on that same evening or not, we get to come through.
Yeah, that's good. Who has absolute control over the universe?
I have yet to meet them.
Them.
But I still know them. I say them, but I don't know whether they are them. Or it. He or she.
Will you ever know? How do you become to know?
My answer to you is, when you come home, we will sit and discuss this.
Okay.
And you will look back on this when I sit with you. You will laugh. And we can go on that journey together.
Yeah, I look forward to it. Right. Question of gender. Why are some human souls attracted to the same sex?
Do you mean when we...
Here on the earth plane, so why are some human souls attracted to the same sex? So obviously we have like same-sex couples and stuff. Like, why is that? Is that because the soul doesn't see gender?
My answer to this is they see the love of another without the conditioning. Because of the religions and beliefs of man and woman, which I will say theory is why animals and creatures are created with two different sexes, that this is why they should be man and woman. This is not the case. Everything is created from love, and everything is individual. But because of the conditioning and the religions, it doesn't mean to say that you have to love the opposite gender. It has just made to become difficult because of the teachings. But as time has gone on, things are getting better in how this is perceived.
What are the... Yeah, sorry.
The only thing is, you are created, or things are created in opposites in order for that species to survive, to reproduce.
But not everybody can do that anyway.
No, this is true. But that is just the basic of that life.
What are some of the how can I put it, insightful like learnings from Buddhism that you kind of acquired in your knowledge bank? Some of the teachings that you found to be most helpful to yourself or others?
Peace, and to love one another for who they are, with no boundary. It takes a lot of hard work for this, because even spending a long time in isolation from others, some of our temples are not near others, so we have to travel for days to become near other villages. So to learn peace within you, thoughts of wanting to leave, as you asked on your first questions, of how, with my doubts, if you are away from others, it is easy, but then when you interact with others from outside your family,
the different influences and temptations and
harmony, my brother, harmony. Yes, thank you. That was the perfect word I should have remembered. Oha.
Welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Hello.
What would you like to be known as?
Manjona.
Manjona. Manjona, would you like to share any kind of like experiences or lessons from previous lives or lessons in spirit that may help us here on the earth plane? Any words of wisdom?
The seed of every soul is of one. It's their energy. It will travel through vessels over different times, different lands, different worlds. It needs vessels to be able to experience what it can't experience from home. We are all one. We are all seeds from this energy. And just to travel and gain knowledge, but pass on love, healing, harmony, and most of all, trust.
Thank you. What is the best way to manage and keep our personal fears of failure at bay?
That becomes to the individual. The soul itself is pure, but the minds of what the soul travels in through experiences learn these things. Sometimes it can be dark, and because the eyes cannot see, you forget to trust. So fear becomes part of the way, and it's the way that that individual being that the soul's in learns and believes that that is the way. So it's difficult for the mind of every vessel is different. Things are taught, but experience is where things are learned.
How do you explain why there is so much poverty and hardship inflicted upon so many throughout this world? Is it purely down to karma?
It's down to man. Simple. Karma is the easiest way to, it's an energy. That people would put aside and try to not use that energy. And if their path changes, the energy overtakes them. And that's when things go wrong. So they need to balance with the energy, trust the energy. They created the energy by doing whatever they did. So they have to accept it. It's just about the balance. But man, greed, power, it does corrupt the mind. It creates a lot of negative energy within the minds of the vessels. And some can't let that go, and that greed can overpower them, and they lose their way. And karma would kick in, and other people that would see this would probably laugh. But a lot of it is fear. That's why everybody has lost their way in harmony, in the love. We are all but one. We are part of nature. We all walk the earth. It's a cycle of life. So it's just a case of following the path that you choose, what you see. As a vessel, paths can be closed, new paths can be opened. But you always find that, oh, your expression would be things come back to haunt you as an expression, but it's because the experiences, they just haven't closed away properly.
Mm. It is difficult because then they say, you know, if you have fear, then you can kind of attract more negativity and stuff. And it's all to do with the energy. And you might know to yourself, okay, if I think these things, it's going to attract negativity. But it's hard sometimes getting rid of those thoughts. It's not that easy just to kind of like delete them, as much as we'd like to.
You cannot get rid of thoughts.
Mm.
They are always with you.
Well, I guess programmed to another point in your brain.
That's a good word for you, program. You just have to believe and trust and use other energies around you to balance.
Mm.
If you don't balance, the negativity can control.
Yeah.
And emotions don't go where you would like them to.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to open, trust, breathe, use the harmony, use what the guides are giving you, and just remember you are part of everything.
When was your last time here on the airplane, if you've ever been on the airplane? Or have you not been on the airplane?
Late 1700s.
Mm. Do you remember what country or what we would know?
Just land of the valleys.
Mm.
If you look at the world today, it's changed.
Mm. What was your life like?
I was from a tribe,
Mm.
and all we did was use Mother Earth for the medicines, for the food, for the source, and for life.
Did you have a specific job or role?
I was chief
What was one of the greatest things you learned as being chief?
Just to protect. And honor and be the main warrior.
Did you always trust those around you? Because we talk about how important it is to trust, but yet as the role of chief, how
We trust all. And through rituals, we always put signs on, and other tribes would have different signs. You would probably know these as white markings. They would hoard evilness away. But again, this evil was just other man.
Do you believe in magic spells, like doing candle spells?
Magic comes from prayer. Magic comes from music. Magic comes from the soul. We all have magic.
But do you think by doing certain rituals, it enhances the magic? Or not? It doesn't matter as long as you've got the intention there.
That is its intention.
Yeah.
Will help your soul vibration do what it's meant to do. And it will heal where it needs to heal. And it can feel where it needs to feel. And the human soul can touch many other places around the world at the same time.
Why do we get pins and needles?
I would say if you don't move for a long time and stand up, we used to call it funny feet.
Yeah, that's what I've got now in 1 foot. That's what oh.
You must have had a leg crossed.
Yeah, I think I did.
Yes.
How do we know when we're like channeling energy? You know, because sometimes I'll sit there and I'll think to myself like in the morning, but then sometimes I don't feel it. You know, sometimes when you're doing it, like if I'm giving healing, it's like I can feel it. But sometimes if I'm doing it for myself, I think to myself, am I imagining it or not? Like I don't feel it.
You don't have to feel it for you to know that it's gone. If you have the intent and say the words, we pray, and through our prayers, people know that the prayers are being said about them. So that within itself gives them healing.
What about when we're kind of like trying to fill ourselves up with energy from source?
You just have to sit back, open up the mind. Sometimes you don't feel it, but you will find one part of the day where you are relaxed, and at that point of time,
Then you feel it.
You feel it, and you know that it's channeled where it is meant to.
That makes sense. Yeah. What's going on with Neil's power cut tonight? Do you know? He's in the dark.
I see no power cut. I see him shining bright.
That's a good one. Will Spirit ever come through Pam in the upcoming weeks? Or is there any words of advice that we can share with Pam, like to help her along? Or is she where she needs to be at the moment within the circle?
Pam is spirit.
Mm.
She has love, unconditional love. We do feel that the vessel is, I would say, making her think it's blocking her.
Mm.
But the vessel is the vessel. She just needs to open up her mind a little bit more. Relax. I feel her shoulders, her neck, her chest very tense. So she needs to breathe, believe, trust. But the energies are there and around her.
Mm.
And when she truly lets go, we can come through her.
Mm.
She just needs to just release.
Thank you. Within the universe, like, in terms of the planets, when we see the kind of images of them, we have like this round sphere. Like, what shapes are planets, or do they all vary? Like, each planet's different.
Every energy form
Mm.
is always a different size in mass, a different shape in mass. And it's the same energy from the collective. You would see things through telescopes and these square things on walls, what people look at. Things are all shown as round
Mm.
because for a human eye, if something is round on a piece of wire and being shown, it would represent a planet. But nothing is really round.
Mm.
There are many darker shapes when you look up as well, but you would not see this. You just see what's shining bright. But I can tell you the same soul that would be in you would be the same soul that is creating one of these planets.
Mm. A lot of people think that when famous singers and musicians pass over, that they are partying together and partying together. Is that true?
No. They all come back to work.
Do you ever?
When the
Yeah.
soul's travelled in what some people would call these vessels that have made their life on the planet successful with ambition, they are no different to you, I, or anything. We're just the same souls, and we're just doing the journey that we've chosen. And once the journey stops there in that vessel, we come back, we will work, and we will guide our ways. We do get instructions from elders, but every soul has its purpose.
How do we know what our purpose is?
By choosing the path and living in the vessel to learn.
Is there any periods like during the human lifetime that like you can just be like, oh, okay, I'm having a break from learning, I'm having like 4 years out, I'm having a rest?
Souls will rest in vessels, but that is part of its journey as well.
Well, I don't understand. Why is there so much learning and not enough play?
The soul is, well, what you call it is playing. It's just playing its role.
Mm.
There came a question earlier on about two males together,
Yeah, same-sex couples.
same-sex couples. Everything chooses a vessel, and the way of life is to naturally breed. But you'll find what you would call your animal kingdom, that dogs will make dogs. But their minds haven't been corrupted by a belief system. They just do what they naturally think they need to do. But it's not always about attraction. It's just about a moment in time. But when two souls are united and the two vessels become one, it helps both souls on a journey that's required.
Mm. Interesting. Do you have any questions for anybody in our circle?
I have no questions. But with you, Ashley, I feel you need to step back and just accept some things
Mm.
that is misjudging you from where you really want to be. An expression that is used is every cloud has a silver lining. And by me saying that, you would know that.
Mm.
So just trust that.
Okay, thank you.
And just relax, because you are very tense as well. Use the mind, not the heart, because the heart is yet a muscle,
Mm.
nothing more.
Is there anything that you'd like to share with Adrian, Pam, Chris, or Neil?
Pam just needs to rest. And the healing will take its course. Healing's going to have fun asking more questions.
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Neil is going to have fun with writing down some more of his questions.
As always. I think he's been busy preparing for the next quiz that we've got coming up in Easter. So sure he's got some more tricks up his sleeve with some funny costumes to be gathering.
John, sorry for interrupting you. I was going to say my brother Chris and Adrian just need to believe more. But they're on good paths.
When you say believe more, will they know what you mean when they hear that, like believe more, or is it believe within something?
They will know.
Okay.
For you, Ashley, you need to believe in peace within you.
Mm.
When you're in times where you struggle, pretend you are the guide guiding you. Do you understand what I am saying?
Yeah.
Step back. Think. But when it comes to being peace, accept you for the beautiful person and soul that you are. Views of others do not matter. You understand this?
Yeah, thank you.
For Chris, I see he just needs a little time to himself. And I would say some quiet meditation. To truly find himself, to bring him back to the loving soul he is.
Mm-hmm.
And to the group as a whole, thank you for letting us join you.
Thank you for joining us.
We love
It's
this.
lovely having you, both of you.
Yes, thank you.
And thank you for all your healing as well this evening.
We thank you. You heal us as well. I will bid you a good one of your evenings.
And you
Hope
also.
to see you again very soon.
Yeah, take care.
How?
Okay, it's time for us now to finish today's question and answer session. We would like to thank Spirit for being here to guide us and working directly with us. That includes our personal guides and for the additional advisors that have joined us here today to give us the benefit of their wisdom. Thank you for your continued support, which we fully appreciate and value. We look forward to linking up with you again next time. Before we close the link, we hope you don't mind us spending a few minutes of our time exploring our personal direct links with Spirit. 2 to 3 minutes until I call you back into the room, everyone. Time now to refocus on your crown chakras. And as and when you have, close it down to break your link with Spirit. Move any residual energy you don't need from your crown chakra to your brow chakra, onto your throat chakra, then to your heart chakra, further down to your solar plexus chakra, and then on to your sacral chakra, and then to your root chakra. Allow this surplus energy to move down through your legs and body to your feet and ground yourself on Mother Earth, please. When you are sufficiently grounded and in your own time, gently and slowly bring your attention back into the room, please. End the recording.